Hello, I'm Lydia Goldthwaite Knight. I'd like you to know a little bit about my life. I was born on June 9, 1812, in Sutton, Massachusetts to Jesse G. and Sally Burt Goldthwaite. My father was not religious, but my mother affiliated with the Presbyterians. In 1828, I married Calvin Bailey. In 1830, a daughter, Rosanna, was born to us. In 1832, we had a son, Edwin. Edwin died the same day as his birth, and Rosanna died in 1833. My husband then left me. In 1833, I met Joseph Smith and accepted baptism. In 1835, I moved to Kirtland, Ohio. Vincent Knight offered me a place to stay for a few months, and then Hiram Smith needed me to help with his family. It was during this time that I met Newell Knight. He was a widower and had a 3-year-old son, Samuel. Newell and I were married on November 24, 1835 by Joseph Smith. We suffered the expulsion from Far West, the sickness in Nauvoo, the martyrdom of the prophet, and the decision to leave Nauvoo and travel west with the saints that were headed to the Rocky Mountains. Before we left Nauvoo, Newell and I had 6 children. They were Sally, James Philander, Joseph Ether, Newell, Jr., Lydia, and Jesse. As we crossed Iowa and arrived at the Missouri River, our provisions had dwindled. Newell went to Missouri and found work and brought back enough provisions for a year. We crossed the Missouri and awaited instructions from President Brigham Young. When President Young met with us, he organized us into companies of 50 and then companies of 10. Newell was appointed the captain of the first 50 and Joseph Holbrook the captain of the second 50. After a week of travel, we were overtaken by a company under James Emmett and George Miller. 2 weeks were spent in argument while traveling on, until we were within 6 miles of the missionary station of the Pawnee Indians. By this time, quite a number had been so impressed with the perilous picture drawn by Miller and Emmett of their course if they did not unite with his company, that there was quite a division in the camp. A council of the officers was held, and it was decided that Newell and John Kay should return to winter quarters, where the body of the saints were encamped for winter, and there obtain the word and will of the Lord through his servant Brigham. Only a short time elapsed before the messengers who were sent to winter quarters returned with a letter from President Young. He counseled them not to attempt to reach the mountains, as the season was now too far advanced, but to seek some good place, where people and teams could be fed and be made comfortable through the winter. And thus it was, the 3 companies united, and, for the time at least, Emmett and Miller submitted to council. The captains then sought for a suitable place to winter. After considering their options, a high council headed by George Miller voted to go north to winter with the Ponca Indian tribe on the Niobrara River. The Ponca Indians told us it was a good wintering place because of great quantities of rushes on which cattle could feed. It took us 11 days to reach the Ponca settlement at Running Water. The 3 companies brought approximately 500 people to the area. There was some disagreement as to whether our companies of 10 should work together or separately to accomplish the tasks at hand. However, by the last day of August, Newell had staked off the lots that would make up the fort that was planned. Some of our company wanted to move upriver and some down. By September 7, we moved upriver, where Newell laid out another fort, and we began building cabins. On December 26, the Indians set fire to the prairie. The fire threatened the 110 cabins that had been built, but we only lost stacks of hay and some wagons. Newell had been exhausted and began to feel anxious. I was calm and happy and looked forward to the time when the end of the long journey would be reached. One night Newell called to me, "Lydia, I have a pain in my side. Be quick, my dear, it is very acute." I brought him a remedy, but it gave no relief. On January 11, 1847, I sat with tightly closed hands watching the breath of the being I loved better than life itself, slowly cease. Lydia, Newell whispered, it is necessary for me to go. Joseph wants me. It is needful that a messenger be sent with the true condition of the saints. Don't grieve too much, for you will be protected. Oh Newell, I said. Don't give up. Oh, I could not bear it. Think of me, Newell, here in an Indian country alone. No resting place for my feet, no one to counsel, to guide, or to protect me. I cannot let you go. He looked at me a moment and then said, I will not leave you now, Lydia. Then an agony of suffering seemed to seize him and his very frame trembled with the mighty throes of pain. I then fell to my knees and asked God to forgive me if I had asked amiss, and it was really His will for my husband to die, that the pain might leave him and his spirit go in peace. My prayer was scarcely over ere a calm settled over me, and with one long loving look in my eyes, his spirit fled. No lumber could be had, so I had one of our wagon boxes made into a crude coffin, and Newell was buried the evening of January 11th. Some of the brethren had their fingers and feet frozen while digging the grave. The grave was about 2 miles west of the fort in the burying ground for the camp. In February, I learned that brothers Ezra T. Benson and Erastus Snow were coming soon to Ponca camp to organize the saints according to the pattern given in the Revelation. How could I prepare myself and family to return to winter quarters and then take a journey of 1,000 miles to the Rocky Mountains? I cried out, O Newell, why hast thou left me? As I spoke, he stood by my side with a lovely smile on his face and said, Be calm, let not sorrow overcome you. It was necessary that I should go. I was needed behind the veil to represent the true condition of this camp and people. You cannot fully comprehend it now, but the time will come when you shall know why I left you and our little ones. Therefore, dry your tears. Be patient, I will go before you and protect you in your journeyings. And you and your little ones shall never perish for lack of food. Although the ravens of the valley should feed you and your little ones, you shall not perish for the want of bread. As he spoke the last words, I turned and there appeared 3 ravens. Turning again to where he had stood, he was not. This was of great comfort and help to me, and my spirit was revived and strengthened. As spring approached, our little camp was visited by a great deal of sickness and death. In April, we were told to organize for traveling. My family and our effects were put in 2 wagons drawn by 3 yoke of oxen. A very cold, slow, tedious journey was made to winter quarters. The brethren put up a log cabin for me. On August 26, 1847, our 7th child was born. He was named Hiram Helaman Knight. We had just moved into the cabin. There were no doors nor windows, and the roof was but partially on. It wasn't until 1850 that I was able to make the trek to the valley. This is my sojourn in the wilderness story about Ponca Camp and the trials of its residents.